Hello everybody, my name is Kenneth and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be checking out Pablo and Josue's music video for Determinado as well as the Rappler Live. Obviously I have already checked out the visualizer for Determinado and I really enjoyed the song. So a lot of my focus during this reaction will be to the music video and more of the visual elements perhaps. Pause warning before we get into it. I do like to pause and discuss things. If I can give thoughts as quick kind of moments, then I will. As you can just see by there, I often have trouble with the quick thoughts. So I do pause. I apologize if that's not for you, that's okay. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into the music video for Determinado. Also, this came out before the video for Surreal did, so I didn't see that Pablo and Josue were already using the entertainment logo for their company, but I still love it. Love the fire sounds. Already I like the way that we've taken the visualizer aesthetic and put it as kind of the main grounding of the music video. Ooh. I love the darker color grading in this. Josue looks fierce. Already I like the way that this is being set up. So we've got Pablo on the motorbike. I think I've only seen Pablo on the motorbike, while Josue is stuck in rooms, or in this particular scene, he's stuck on a chair chained up. And it's all about that kind of breaking out. I like that he was in the mirror there. Josue was in the mirror. The line about music being his only vice hits differently now that I've heard Akala. I really still love that choral sound that this song has. Looks so good. They both do, but especially with all these flames. That's a really good effect, and a nice shade of blue too. Also, a lot of this music video is in shadow, not just in terms of like the color grading, but in terms of the actual settings that they're in. There, even for instance, the motorbike scenes, they are, I think, maybe shot on overcast days when there's little to no sunlight. Obviously, I like the forest settings because that represents another harkening back to the visualizer. I love the way he rolls his R on that line. I love the metaphor here of the flame, because obviously flames are often used as symbols of power and strength, and I like the way that they hold the power in their hand and then are able to kind of force it into themselves to give them strength to carry on and continue on their journeys. It's definitely a representative of that determination. Oh, are they gonna meet up? Oh, this is gonna be cool. Oh, that's a good shot. Oh, I love it. I think I saw a BTS shot of this happening, of this face-off moment. This particular with the light behind them. I think I saw a quick BTS of that. I love it. Okay, so that went by really quickly, but holy hell, I loved it. I loved it. It was so, as I said, more of my thoughts are going to be on the actual music video and production of that side rather than of the song, because obviously I have already heard it. I still love it. I still love the arrangement of this song. I think it really, the highlight of it has to be this part here, this face off, and the way that they're facing off against each other as well. But in a way that is almost like competition to make yourselves better. I could imagine like in the studio or even before the studio when they're just writing together, I could see them being each other's motivators to do more and to do better with their lyrics. You know, one of them might come in and say like, I've got this idea for this lyric. And then the other person might go, oh, but you know, you could make it a bit better. You know, and then they drive each other to make it better. But this part here was so cool. I love the way that they continuity. They keep the soft yellow light here. I don't know. It just satisfies me. But I definitely think I've seen the BTS for that particular close-up shot. I love that the end of the music video as well, almost mirroring the vocal and the accompaniment of the song. It turns into chaos almost. Even in the editing and the transitions, you have all these like warps and spins, and everything's going kind of out of control, almost as if you were in that kind of animalistic kind of motion of hunting someone down. I really like this. The effects in this are so good. So good. So good. They're so good. I mean, just this part here as well. Just the way that the use of color. It starts off, you know, with just blue, and then kind of has those other etchings of color, but then kind of refocuses back into blue. Blue and blue flames are a big theme in the kind of, if you imagine Determinado as a concept rather than just a song or a music video. But within that, you have the song, you have the music video, you have the visualizer. Within all of that, blue flames are often used in this to represent strength and fearlessness. And obviously, in reality, the blue flame is the hotter flame of the two flames. And so I like that inclusion. This is a really good music video. Also, this shot here, when I first saw this shot, can I please see this shot? There's this shot. When I first saw this shot, all I could think of was Akala. All I could think of. And as I said, having heard that now, it has really, especially with this visual, has really changed how I see this scene. Because if I'd have gone into this music video beforehand, which I did actually intend to, but I forgot. Organization is not my organization and follow through, not my strong suit. But if I had have reacted to this when I intended to, before I got distracted by a million different things, I think I would have taken this scene differently than I now take it. Obviously, I think in the comments of the Akala reaction that I did, a lot of you guys said that Josue did used to have a problem or a difficulty or something with alcohol. And so seeing this scene, especially when you see the next scenes where he's chained into a chair, it's very reminiscent of what I saw in Hala, and it's very inspiring in this music video because with that problem, as I said in the Akala music video, if you have a difficulty or a struggle with alcohol, you often find it difficult to get out of that, without support and things like that. And so it's inspiring because there's a scene where he starts to tear up the room. I think it's here. Maybe a little. There's a scene where he starts tearing up the room. Might be later. But there's a scene where he was destroying the room he was in, or is it later? It might have been later. Here we go. And obviously the alcohol here isn't here anymore. Obviously the table is completely bare and he's just smashing things around. But I like to think that idea of it's not there because it's no longer a problem in his life anymore. And obviously with kind of the themes of the song, he is pushing through and he is finding his strength. And ultimately, to link it back to Akala, he is finding his strength without alcohol, or with a way that his livelihood and life can exist with alcohol in a healthy way. I really like this. I really like this. I think it does a brilliant job of pushing forward the themes of the music video. I like the use of the different scenes where it's almost as well like I was saying about the meetup. It's almost like Pablo was already going to see Josue for the kind of fight face off scene, if you like. I know it's not the fight, but you get the idea. But with the Josue side of it, obviously it looked like he had more to deal with in terms of breaking out of his kind of space, breaking out of the chair. It felt like what I was saying earlier about them building each other up. It almost feels like that scene is almost like meeting in the middle and sharing their strength. And then obviously that's when the music video goes crazy and it's all wild and blah. And I like to think that they're by the end of the music video. I say facing off. Oops, sorry. I say facing off, but I do mean in a way of building one another up, and exuding that strength. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. We are going to be checking out the music video for Determinado. The music video. No, we're not. We're going to be checking out the Rapla Live of Determinado. So if you're ready to do that, we can jump in now. This one doesn't have subtitles on, so I'll just be focusing on the performance. Also, sorry, that was really loud. I never know what the levels are going to be like in videos. I like as well when you compare this to the music video, and this is kind of the important thing of seeing live performances versus just watching music videos and listening to songs as they are in the studio. In the music video, obviously, Josue was the main focus for a lot of the early music video. There were cuts in and out of Pablo in the motorcycle, but I think about until about halfway, it was a very Josue dominated music video in kind of thematics and storyline. And so it's nice in a live performance to be able to see what both performers are contributing to the song. Obviously, if you were new to Pablo and Josue's work and you didn't know particularly how each member, each performer sounded and the texture of their voice and the kind of tone and timbre of their voice, you might just assume from seeing the music video that Josue does everything at the beginning. You know, he does the main vocal and the background vocal, because even though there are moments where Pablo is on screen, in music videos, the lip sync doesn't always correspond. You know, you'll have sections where, and I'm not specifically just talking about Pablo and Josue or even SB19, but just in general, you might have a group where a more seasoned kind of listener would know, oh, this is Pablo, this is Josue, this is you know whichever song you're listening to, you might be able to tell that. But for someone who's very new to the group, or to, in this case, the two performers, and I'm referring to them as the two performers here because obviously they might, if this is their first listen, they might not even know who Pablo is. They might not even know who Josue is. So you know, they might assume that Josue is taking the lead and taking the background vocals, and Pablo is just lip syncing to lip sync, if you know, to do the performance capture in the music video. And so it's nice to see in live performances who is doing what. I'm noticing as well, and I think it's a family thing. They have a similar texture to their voice in certain enunciations. And this might sound random and weird, but when I hear it, I imagine a kind of almost like a reverse C shape being made. Like, obviously, I'm not saying they look like they're making a C shape with their mouth or anything like that, but the texture reminds me of like a backward C shape. And I don't know. I think it's something that's, I used to think was characteristically Pablo, but now I think it's characteristically the family kind of trait of their vocals. And I don't know, I like it. I'm just, it's just something that I'm noticing. It also, I don't know, makes it sound thicker in the mix here. I love the way that, because while this is a live performance, obviously it's in a studio setting, I like the way that they're, particularly Josue here, they're engaging with the camera work. They're not just having, you know, a static camera setup, maybe 2 or 3 camera setups. But they're actually moving in, and they're making the space, they're making use of the space more than just here's a studio. You know, here's a studio, here's a thing. And it's something that I noticed that like Wish does as well, the Wish bus. Obviously, compared that to this, there's even less space on the Wish bus, but they use clever angles and switches and use of the space Um, but I like with this particular song, because of the song being the song that it is very much about being in your face and showing that strength. And it's almost like we were doing, we the viewer, we're doing the face off almost from the music video with Josue. I love his facial expressions. He's so expressive. Also, when you look, sorry, I'm just going to talk about the space here. When you look at the space, obviously this isn't a concert. This isn't an award show where you've got massive amounts of space to move around, and you don't. It looks quite empty. So making use of the space is very important, because especially with a song like this, if they don't act towards the camera and they don't perform towards the camera in the way they are, this could fall flat. The song is very big and bold, and if they didn't kind of match that energy in the space, both from the perspective of Pablo and Josue performing, but also the camera itself, that strength and that in your face kind of feeling that you get, it would fall flat. And so I appreciate, because we talked about in the comments of the Akala live, we talked in there about how both Pablo and Josue are quite introverted, and while Pablo has more experience in terms of being a performer with SB19, and even before that experience was formed, in the earlier days when they were training, because obviously you're not necessarily going to have that same stage presence in your first month of training. I like the way that they actually do seem a lot more comfortable in this performance. I don't know if that's just me, but they both feel, Josue in particular, they both feel comfortable, and it does help with the song. One thing as well, seeing it like this and seeing it in a live setting, it kind of reinforces what I was saying in the music video about them building each other up, because you have the first section of the song and it's led by Josue, and Pablo is there providing support. And he, as I said earlier, with the kind of vocal tone, he adds a thickness to it, which helps make the sound strong, and stronger than it would be just, by Josue's self. And then obviously now we're switching, and now it's Pablo taking the lead and Josue playing support. And it's a really nice thing to see, because again, with music videos, you're really focusing on the storyline, you're really focusing on the visuals. And if I'm making a general comment here about music videos, if there are discrepancies from the original song, there wasn't particularly any discrepancies like long breaks between verses or anything, or a storyline that extended the music video, beyond the lengths of the actual song. But it's still not the same as seeing it here and seeing the way that they interact. And the important thing here is, in the first section of the song, Pablo's playing support. And when I say support, I mean background vocals. And his job is to bolster Josue without taking away from Josue. And in this section of the song, it's obviously reversed. And I think that they both do it very well. You know, it's easy with a song like this where you feel aggressive to just kind of belt it out and be as loud as you. I say belt, but belt probably isn't almost scream it out. I think would be the better the better term here. But yeah, with a song like this, it's very easy to want to just like and really push it. And so it's really, really good to me that they're able, because obviously the latter half of the song they are allowed to let go a lot more, but it's very professional and very nice to see how they allow each other to have their moments and show off their moments, especially because, you know, again, in comparison, Pablo has a lot more experience performing live in terms of this kind of setting than Josue does because of SB19. And so it's nice that they're equals in this space, because it's very easy. It would be very easy if Pablo was the sort of person to be kind of like, yeah, I'm on a song with my brother, but look at me. You know, if he was that kind of person, which he's not. And so it's really, really nice to be able to see the way that they give way to each other. Giving way in performances is very important, whether it's a romantic ballad or whether it's a song like Determinado, where it's a duet, but it's a duet that's, again, designed to build up, show strength, show camaraderie, push forward. Yeah. Also, I'm obsessed with Pablo's eyebrow. I don't know. It's satisfying the way it's shaved. I don't think a lot of people's random rant. I don't think a lot of people suit that style. I know I probably wouldn't, but Pablo, he suits it. It helps create an aesthetic for him, and he really works it. Also, I think the styling is very deliberate in this performance. Obviously, I think it's the same thing that they were wearing in their Akala performance, but I imagine the priority of the styling, because obviously when you style for performances, you have a stylist usually. I don't know if they had a stylist for this or if they decided to style themselves. But when you go to do a performance, this is why costume changes are a thing, because you maybe start a performance in one costume or styling, and then as the song changes, you might need to change the costuming simply, you know, to fit the song's vibe. You don't want to, for instance, imagine Pablo and Josue start singing this song, and instead of it just being this single song, it was a medley, and suddenly you find yourself singing Twice as Fancy, for instance. You're not going to resonate from a visual perspective the same way, and so that's why costume changes are a thing. And I feel like for this particular Rapla performance, because I assume they did this and Akala on the same day, I think that they styled for this, and I think it's such a simple styling choice, but I think it's very deliberate, and it very much resonates with the music video of that kind of scene of, you know, being on the motorcycle and driving across country. But even the scenes where you're with Josue in the room and in the chair, it gives kind of mafia gang vibes kind of thing in that way of, and when I say that, I'm more talking about the strength rather than the other elements of those things, because, you know, when you hear about like a gang or a mafia, you usually associate those things, yes, with the criminality and all that jazz, but I'm more focused on the kind of the strength and the loyalty and the competitiveness that exists in that kind of culture. And so it's that kind of thing of they're almost like a biker gang kind of thing, because again with like biker gangs you have emblems on the shoulder, you have maybe specific colors and stuff like that. Obviously they haven't got that far, but and maybe I'm reading into too much into it, but I could definitely see that being the style motivation. That's what I'm talking about. Again, the way he says tarantula, satisfying. I'm noticing synths and stuff as well that I didn't notice in the first listen on the visualizer. I love that. The color response. And the music here swelling as well as their performance too. And this is what I love as well. This is the perfect good thing about watching a live performance like this. Exactly what I'm saying about building each other up. A song obviously is built up of many layers. Not just in terms of accompaniment and singing, but in terms of highs, mids, lows. And you've got all of that with the accompaniment kind of centered, filling a wide variety of notes. And then you've got Pablo going up, and you've got Josue going down, and every space is filled, and it's this sonic wall almost, pushing forward. Or even, you could say it's something pushing through that sonic wall. I love this. And that guttural sound, I can't do it obviously, but that riff was really nice. I just want to say, the end of that performance, you could tell the effort that Josue was putting into that. Scream vocals, like regular clean vocals as they're sometimes called, are hard enough to get stable. And that's why I really love how Pablo attacks songs and sings. But scream vocals are even harder because you wouldn't think it, because a lot of people think that high notes are hard, low notes are easy. And yes, his notes are lower, but that's not true. It takes just as much, if not more, effort to do low notes well. And especially because of the type of singing, scream singing takes so much more strength and so much more effort, because you are literally straining your vocal cords as you're going. And obviously that's very dangerous, because if you strain too much, you can damage them. But you have to keep the airflow consistent. You can't, if you have patchy breath control in regular singing, it can make you sound bad. But if you have patchy breath control when you're screaming, when you're doing scream vocals, that's a whole other ball game, because scream vocals, the kind of nuance and reason people enjoy scream vocals and why scream vocals are very important in this song is because it's that guttural from the chest, from the the stomach. It's power. And if you imagine you having wavy breath control, or you're not focused enough, that growl will sound like what I did. Because obviously I was doing a really bad interpretation, because I can't scream vocal. But I like the way that you can see, like, he adjusts when the performance finishes, but as that performance was kind of finishing, you can see the way that Josue's face was straining. And not in a way of, like, I'm saying, oh, he had a lot of tension or anything like that, but just because he was putting effort in. You know, he was really going for it. And again, a song like this, and specifically that part of the song, it needs that. You can't have that idea of, I'm just gonna half-ass it. I'm just gonna, and I'm not saying that neither Pablo or Jose would do that, but you can't go into that kind of part of the song, and especially if you're doing that part, going, ugh, I'm just gonna give 10%. I'm just gonna give 50. You know, you have to give everything you can to it to get the point across and to get that power across. And so it's nice to see how, from his kind of body's perspective, how he's really putting so much effort into it, um, and doing it so well. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed both the music video and this live performance. Again, they're so good at performing. Obviously, we know this, and you know, I feel like I'm saying this in every single video that I do, whether it's about Pablo, whether it's about Pablo and Josue, whether it's about SB19 or any of the other solos. But it's so true. They are so very, very good. And I think, oh, they're live kings. All of them. I really, really, really enjoy this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye.